I tell you, sometimes when you listen to players in post-game interviews, you can kind of get an idea of, what the coaches were thinking during the week. And I heard Brandon Graham say yesterday that there were some opportunities that they felt like they could take advantage with some matchups. And I'm going to present to you today a reason why Brandon Graham, in my opinion, should be permanently moved to defensive tackle. And you can either play Josh Sweat on a consistent basis, you can play Deshaun Hall on a consistent basis. Both of those guys got sacks yesterday. When the Philadelphia Eagles signed Malik Jackson and they signed Tim Jernigan back, the thought was they would man this right tackle position. Malik Jackson is more of a pass rusher than he is a run stopper. Most of the time what you get at the defensive tackle position, you either get a guy who is a major run stopper, who never gets any pressure on the quarterback, or a guy that's a pure pass rusher and he doesn't want to play the run. So when you look at a guy like Aaron Donald, he's the rare exception. When I think back about my old teammate, Jerome Brown, he's the rare exception of a guy who can play the run and rush the passer when you have to have that. So the Malik Jackson move was to bring in a guy who could create pass rush and take a lot of pressure off of Fletcher Cox. We know that Fletcher Cox can be that guy when he's 100% healthy, but when Malik and Tim Jernigan got injured, it left a void right here. We've got some run stoppers here, but we don't have any guys that can pressure. Now, most of the time they move Brandon down here in their NASCAR package. That's their third down package to rush the passer in obvious passing situations. But I submit to you that Brandon Graham is the type of guy with his size, with his stature, that could get down in here and create problems. I always talk about Fletcher and how in passing situations, they're going to turn and they're going to double Fletcher. If that's going to be the case, Malik Jackson was that guy to beat one-on-one on this side, okay? So in order to force this not to happen for Fletcher, you either got to move this tackle down in that gap that forces the center to look this way and slide protection the entire way, or allow them to continue to do that and get a guy like Brandon Graham in this position. If you go back and you watch the film, Brandon had a heck of a day yesterday. Why? Because he's a move guy. He's got good feet. And most of the time when you put a guy, an offensive lineman, at a guard position, it's because he doesn't have good feet. So all the moves that Brandon has, okay, here, coming back around, here, going inside, that can be huge. Now, whether he can play the run from that position, that's a whole nother ball game. But when you got a small guy like that, to help him be able to play the run, you move him, shoot the gap, move here. I think going forward, the Philadelphia Eagles really need to consider moving Brandon Graham, the defensive tackle. And I think that's going to help this defense in a myriad of ways, not only in the running game, but as far as the pass rush is concerned. And now you're going to force this center to not double Fletcher all the time, to spring him and let him loose and let him be the player that he needs to be. Because there's no way in the world you're going to lay 600 pounds on Fletcher Cox every single Sunday and think he's going to be the Fletcher Cox that we need him to be.